All right, we're live?
We're live.
Welcome back to another week of Play Harder Radio. Go to Play Harder Radio on Facebook and like our page. We'd appreciate it. It's not that you're arrogant, it's just that you're an arrogant prick.
There we go.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Why don't we just do the show instead of you just trying to listen in on what everybody else is
Let's
doing?
get this thing going.
Boom. Hey, welcome back. I'm Faja. This is Chad Colquitt. Welcome back to another week of Play Harder Radio at the Break Beach Bar.
You missed Kenny.
We talk about...
Don't worry about that. Just act like I'm not here, Faja.
Okay, Ed. Well, everybody knew Ed McMahon was there, but Kenny makes it happen, so... You know, we're gonna do the big silence thing.
We're already starting with a crowd, which never. It always has a manifest.
We're kind of warmed up from last night. We did the Underground Pub show last night. You expectedly, me unexpectedly.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to be on there. You invited yourself.
I did not invite my. Well, that's not true. That's. Yeah, can you hear it? They can't hear anything.
I'm working on it. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I'm sorry?
No, they hear you in the stream. Keep going.
Oh.
Right on. Well, I'm glad you hear us on the screen. They can't hear us in the bar here.
That was fun, though. We've done that show before.
We did it as guests at the Coyotes, at Robin's place.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man.
I like Robin.
Yeah, she's cool, man. I worked for her for a long time.
A lot of good stories.
4 or 5 different places, man. It was great.
A lot of good stories about Robin.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So
yeah, it was fun though. That was the first time we were actually in a studio, though. It was different.
It was uncomfortable because we had a bunch of white guys in front and the black guy in the back row.
Yeah, we kicked him out of his own show.
That was weird.
Almost Rosa Parks him on his own show. He had the right in the back.
He was cool about it though.
Yeah, it was a good time though. That show's short. It's only an hour, so it starts and it's done real quick.
It was. I love the opening of the interesting conversation about. The worst fans in sports.
Yeah, that was great.
I don't remember what the consensus was.
LSU was
LSU, 2 LSUs,
yeah,
and Ohio State.
I think Alabama ended up being for college, and then it was Philly for NFL.
I'm saying from the panel, kind of.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So not our personal opinion is what we're talking about.
Yeah,
that's what matters.
That's what definitely matters.
Right.
Mine holds supremacy a little bit over than yours.
I do know that what I think matters more to me than what anybody else thinks.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun.
I find it to be quite interesting. My opinions. We got some fans in the house.
Yeah, it's good.
Kenny's in the house.
No, it's fun. We'll get Bobo and Schreiber back on the show and
yeah. There's supposedly a CJ guy or something that is on that show.
He's not even going to be on there
I
next week.
have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he's not even going to be on there next week.
So,
Yeah, it was fun, though. But anyway,
it was fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of dudes in here. It looks like a
You know what? It's like
roughly 15 dudes for every dude in here.
or there's like 30 dudes for Susie.
Yeah, just Susie.
But it is kind of dick heavy.
Ooh,
just saying.
That should be in the slam jar.
Really?
Yeah.
That was that bad?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think it was that bad. We'll talk about the Super Bowl in a little bit.
Let us get through this. We'll knock it all out.
And then I'll give you a mic.
Yeah.
All right? So.
But it's good. It's
we got the Super Bowl coming up this week. I think I'm going to watch it in New Orleans.
I don't know that I'm going to watch it at all. Maybe.
Aren't you working?
That's right. I will be watching it.
Yeah, you will be watching it.
Be at the Little Bar.
You suck up to the NFL.
I have to.
You have to.
It's on Sunday.
You have to?
If it was on a Monday, I wouldn't.
I have to?
I probably wouldn't watch. I can't just go and put Lifetime TV on every TV in the bar during Super Bowl Sunday.
You can say I'm not working if you're showing the Super Bowl.
They need me.
Not that bad.
Have you ever seen me bartend, man? It's
I have.
awesome.
Yes, I've seen you bartend before.
It's fantastic. I've been doing it a long time. I got a lot of sweet moves. People come to see.
You're
I'm
very
the show.
smooth.
I'm the show.
You're not too bad with the pop the cap open with the shaker and slap it down.
I can flip some stuff.
That ain't bad.
I used to look like, Tom Cruise in Cocktail.
Hey, you're no Carnival Court, I can tell you
That's
that.
what I'm saying. That's true, though.
Have you guys ever been to Carnival Court in Las Vegas?
It's fantastic, man. Those guys are badass.
Spectacular. No, not yet. Well,
Bro,
let us
what
get
is
through
it?
the intro, God damn it.
Jeez.
Jesus. Somebody buy Kenny a shot of Fireball.
You know,
One more-
you finally get some audience participation, and you just piss the guy off.
Yeah.
That sounds
we
par
just
for
got
the
to at least
course.
get through our intro. We're getting gangbanged. We don't need it, brother. Thank you.
He's just trying to help.
We
man.
do need it. We do need it, but just give us a second to blunder on our own. So, good show I think we've got going tonight. 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
We've got Mike Johnson and Brandon Dean coming on to do. We're going to do a NASCAR segment.
Yeah, who does
Left turn.
Who's Johnson with?
He's with the SEC Network. Does a radio show with the SEC Network. He and Brandon are both ex-Alabama football players. Mike played 5 years, was 5 years in the Atlanta Falcons organization. 2008, 2009 All-American at Alabama.
This is the same guy we got on while we
Yeah,
were doing
it's a
that
little
thing at Funds there for a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked
Yeah,
him.
that was a great call, actually.
And then we at 8:30, at 8 o'clock we're going to have them on 8:05ish, and then about 8:30, 8:35 we're going to have Brian Ahotz, who I believe got the only one-on-one interview with Nick Saban today when he was in scouting Jacob Copeland.
Yeah, Saban's
I guess scouting isn't the deal, but recruiting.
Yeah, Saban's in Pensacola, man.
So Nick was in the hizzy.
You know, Florida
today.
or Alabama coaches don't have a great history of coming here to recruit. I think Mike Price had a little issue with some strippers and used the Alabama credit card and ended up never even coaching a game.
Didn't he use that at one of our clients?
Yes, he did. We're not going to mention that name, but yeah, he.
It wasn't Babes
Yeah. But yeah.
or Edens.
Yes, none of those. But anywho,
No.
yeah. It's exciting, man. We got a lot of good.
We know where Kenny goes now.
We got a lot of good
Lookers?
high school talent here. So it's cool when you see those coaches
No,
come
we
in here.
do have high school talent here. So, yeah, it's awesome. So I think we're going to get into a little bit of, National Signing Day recruiting stuff with Brian at 8:30. His boss kind of hooked us up with that, Tony Adame, the editor at the P&J. So we're looking forward to that.
Tony's the guy. Don't you play tennis with him?
I do play some tennis with Tony.
How is Tony? Like you played in college, so how is it? I mean, I know that was a
He's
little
a good
while
player.
ago.
He beat me this morning.
Do you let him beat you sometimes just so y'all can you'll have a partner to continue to play with?
So he won't leave me?
I remember it was fun.
I would never say that I let anybody beat me.
Yeah. It was funny, man. When I was growing up, I played a little bit, and I ended up getting my dad out there a few times, and it was pretty cool, man. But every once in a while, I had to let him win a little bit, so I knew that he would come back and want to play the next day.
I remember growing up playing ping pong when we used to play with my dad all the time. We had a ping pong table, and he just beat us. And I don't know that if he ever let us beat him, but then once we got good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long he played ping pong with us, because we got good at it.
I was pretty good
Then
at
I
ping
felt
pong.
bad about beating him.
I have like these octopus arms, so I was really good at. I was pretty good at ping pong. Yeah, my brother was really good.
LP's good at ping pong.
He's Hawaiian though. I think it just looks like he'd be good at ping pong.
I played him before.
LP just looks like he'd be good at
Ping pong.
Hey, so as we're going through this, we're gonna add a little bit of creativity to the show.
Sure.
I kind of went and downloaded a whole bunch of useless facts that you never need to know, but you'll know them after you watch the show.
Right.
So just throughout the show, I'm gonna just spit out some of this stuff.
Cool.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
it'll be
Do you want to say something, LP?
I think we need a ping pong table in here every time you guys do a show. I think that would be kind of cool.
Have a tournament right out in the
Yeah.
in
We
the.
could have it out
No,
back.
why out back? Right here in the middle of everything.
It seems like it'd be too much right here.
Yeah, we're
Don't
already
you think? Right up front here.
we're already a little bit extra. We don't need any more.
I think that you guys should do a ping pong for shots. I mean, anybody can play, challenge, and loser by
Or
shot.
why not just do shots?
Who's
Well,
going to
we
pay for
do
the
that
shots?
already.
We'll just
We were
flip a
trying to
coin.
add Ping pong.
I'm not doing shots tonight. Taking it easy
Ping
tonight.
pong's awesome.
So somebody wanted me to ask, are you guys done with the intros?
Yeah, knock it out.
Okay, they want me to ask you, so what about the Philly defense?
We'll talk about that when we get down to the Super Bowl.
All right, I asked.
Notice on every show that you watch on ESPN, it's cut into segments, and it'll have the thing right there on the right. We need that.
Yeah,
So-
we do need that. What's coming up? Can we do that?
How was the show last week? I wasn't here.
It was good.
It was
Yeah,
a nightmare.
it was a nightmare.
Yeah, like usual, I did everything.
Sounds like when Chad's here.
And I had to be on the show, so
we
it
had
was
some
tough.
really cool hats.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was the coolest part, man.
How's that going? Everything good?
Good. Yeah.
Yes, spectacular.
So,
This kind of feels like the whole Stern setup, where we just have people all over the place
Right.
picking up a mic and talking, man. It's
Right.
awesome.
it's great.
I think last week was very uplifting.
Yeah, I was in Nashville.
Yeah.
was
Surprising Higby Orn.
Yes, just go Higby probably. But anywho, yeah, it was her birthday, so I went and surprised her. Her and Dawn were having
I
dinner
don't
at
feel bad.
we're having a dinner at a restaurant. I kind of just walked up behind her and asked her for keys out of her purse so I could put my luggage up. And she had some food in her mouth, and it almost didn't go
She
well.
spit it out?
No, almost, but it didn't go well. But it went well after that. So the whole trip was awesome. I love that town. I'd like to get you up there, but
Probably be fun.
it's fun. It's fun without you. So
It'd probably be exponential at that point.
yes, it's a great town though. I love it.
Nashville's awesome.
Everybody's nice there. Like you come, I mean, everybody's nice here, but there's a lot of times you can go to other towns where people just aren't inviting, and everybody seems to like they woke up with the happy pills.
It's a good gig. You got I've been to Nashville several times. It's always good.
It was crazy on my flight out there as we're going to leave. Mark Vrabel and Mike Vrabel, actually on my flight there. And you would think they would take a charter jet, but he was with a whole bunch of people. So he was with their GM or I want to say owner. I know the GM was there, so it's
Well,
pretty.
you
neat.
were flying up
right before the Senior
right
Bowl.
before the Senior Bowl. Were there? Did you run into any other coaches or anything?
No, not that I saw. So
No, none.
no. Well, and I really wouldn't have known that was him, but they were just dressed. I mean, head to toe in Titan shit. So it's not like a lot of people roaming around Pensacola repping the Titans.
I'm
so.
surprised you didn't see more coaches if
And
you
he's
were
a
on
big-
that flight.
He was a big dude.
Is he?
Yeah.
Fat, big, or big?
No, big.
He was a linebacker.
Yeah. Ohio State, one of
Right.
your faves.
Yeah, one of my faves. If Stephanie was here to share the experience with us, but she went a little too hard last night, I guess.
Yeah, but he was super nice. He was very inviting to the people that recognize who he was. That I like seeing that in coaches and athletes that are if you approach them, they're not gonna shy you away and they'll answer your questions.
Right.
So.
You know, I not to get off the football and your trip to Nashville and everything, but I saw on ESPN today, it was an interesting article, and I don't even know why the stinking article exists, but the article, I guess the headline of the article was LeBron would be open to talking to the Warriors if they could make cap space, if they could make room for a max deal for him.
But I haven't read anything where the Warriors were open to talking to him.
Exactly. That's what I think's funny. It's just amazing.
He's got to chase rings.
This guy. You know, the funny thing about it is that he is about to become an unrestricted free agent for the third time. And I just wondered if anybody remembered when I mean, because I'm sure it's pretty clear in everybody's mind the third time that Magic and Larry and Michael and Kobe and Shaq became free agents.
Right? But it's crazy. Like every move that he's made, it seems like he's chasing a ring. Where, for one, Michael Jordan never had to make that move.
Neither did Magic.
No. Oh, I get
Neither
it.
did Larry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So I hate.
You know,
I hate
Shaq got traded at the end of a contract, right?
Yeah.
Back in those guys' days, people just didn't jump ship like they do now either.
Yeah, they were loyal.
Yeah, but you know what? If those three guys, if Larry, Michael, and Magic were still around today or came in today, it would be the same way. They take the team they came to and win a championship.
I don't think so. The reason I think a lot of this really happens is because of your AAU ball. A lot of these kids on different teams grew up playing together. Where there was the only time that Magic and Bird ever played against one another was at Indiana State and Michigan State. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but I don't understand your point.
I think a lot of these kids have known each other forever. They don't mind jumping. There's no loyalty. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they just played for their high school, then went and played for their
But I'm
college.
saying they have to jump to win.
Yeah,
Those guys wouldn't have to jump to win.
correct.
They wouldn't have to jump to win.
It's the one and done culture now, you know.
Yeah. Just like in college. You had back in the day, you would have.
Well, that's where it starts.
Yeah, you had back in the '80s and early '90s, you would have guys that would stay probably 3, some of them 4 years. But if you weren't gonna ever have any intention of staying, you were gonna jump before you're gonna go to college.
LeBron has yet to attend Leadership 101,
Yeah,
Team Building 101.
yeah.
So I just think it's funny. Kenny, the mic's on the bar right there if you want to talk.
Don't mean to jump point here, guys, but I would just, like to know your, obviously the feelings on the big game this weekend. Everybody's doubting the Eagles.
Yeah. We've got a full segment on it, my man. Yeah,
We're
knock it
gonna
out.
we're gonna take a break here shortly. What time is it? We're gonna take a break here shortly, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl and we'll talk about that Eagles defense.
There we go.
That sounds great.
All right, brother.
Right on.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
So, yeah. What else this week?
Let's go through some birthdays that happened this week. Some kind of interesting ones. Ronda Rousey turns 31 this week. I thought she might have been a bit older.
I thought she looked older than that.
Yeah.
And is going to the
WWE. I don't know I want to know what her contract is, what the stipulations are, but I could see her having a pretty healthy, long career in the WWE.
She's built for that.
Yeah.
the-
Another birthday of a guy that has passed who I really liked as an actor is Brandon Lee. He died in '93 while making The Crow. It's kind of tragic, man. I like that whole family.
Bruce's
He died.
spawn.
Yeah.
Spawning some movie conspiracy theories around the Lee family, for sure.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
He died from a
Gunshot wound.
stuffing from a blank.
A blank.
The stuffing fucked him up.
Yeah, I think it hit him in the temple with a
Oops,
hammer
yep.
jar. Rick James also passed away in 2004 this week.
bitch.
No, he didn't pass away. I'm kidding. It was his birthday.
I'm Rick James.
Pauly Shore, who lives in Destin. You remember him on...
We
lives in
wish he
Destin?
died today,
Yeah,
some
it was
15 years ago.
Yeah, it was his birthday.
I think
He retired and moved to Destin, I want to say 10, 15 years ago. I don't know if he still lives there, but he had set up shop there for a long time. He was in a bunch of movies that I liked in college that I couldn't stand to watch now.
Right.
one of the
Ooh,
greatest.
you liked him?
Oh, in college I did.
Well, son-in-law, man, one of the greatest.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. Son-in-law was great. Oprah's birthday was this week. You know what Oprah's favorite color is? Purple. That's a movie joke. She won the Oscar, remember?
I thought it was a children's morning show joke.
Yeah. Well, here's the one that blew me away, and actually, me and Karen kind of had a text little thread about this. Shakira's 40 years old.
And probably still looking
Probably looks
fantastic.
like yes. That was my. I don't know. I just like.
She's got some hips now.
Yes, and they don't lie.
She can. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that about Phil Collins?
It's his birthday as well this week.
How old is he?
I would
60-something?
say that he's like 65ish, 66, somewhere in there. So yeah. So that's
Todd, what's going on?
that was our birthdays this week.
Cool. Well, listen, let's take a little pause for the cause. Run you a couple commercials about Tel Staffing and HR, and
When you asked me to make that correction, it was that I had 2 F's in Tel Staff. That was the only thing wrong with it, right?
no, it's Tel Staffing.
Oh, it's Tel. Okay, I'll fix that. I'll fix that during the break then.
Cool. Tel Staffing and HR.
Right.
Cool.
Don't be afraid to send me your edits. We going to break right now or what?
Yeah, we're going to
do it.
break right now. We'll be back in about 5.
brought to you by Patel Staffing and HR for your payroll, workers' comp, human resources, benefits, and staffing. Also by 5025, gratitude, giving, health, wealth, and the fountain of youth. Playharder Radio is sponsored by Rocky's Termite and Pest Control, a family tradition since 1962. Rocky's Termite and Pest Control is family owned and operated and serves Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties. Give them a call today, 850-380-5408.
We're back. How was the break for you? Good?
Oh, we're back?
Yeah.
Just like that?
Just like
Just
that?
like that. Sorry, man.
I knew-
I had more music queued up, but for some reason it wouldn't play.
I thought I was going to get a Bruce Springsteen lead in or something.
Oh yeah,
Excuse
you're
me.
not quite there yet. I'll let you know.
Did you know on average 100 people die of choking on a ballpoint pen every year?
How can that be?
I don't even know how. I don't know. I even
How
tried.
old are they?
It doesn't give me the age or the demographic, but I kind of was chewing on it while I was writing some of this stuff down, and it kind of freaked me out.
You know, I was just thinking, I just saw a Please Stand thing on the internet here, and, you know, concerning the national anthem and all that. And I just, you know, coming up with the 8 o'clock segment, 8:05 segment or whatever with Brandon and Mike, I don't think they have that problem with NASCAR
No, not at all.
for the national anthem.
Could it be the demographic that it's directed towards?
Is it directed towards somebody?
Maybe.
Huh. Brandon said it's the most American sport.
Maybe it could be. I don't know. I don't really watch it as much as I used to. I've been to Talladega 3 or 4 times. I got a bunch of friends from Mississippi State that we would go every year and camp out on the infield. Man, we had a blast.
I've been to Talladega and sat in turn 4.
Yeah,
That was pretty badass.
Never been to a race, but I've heard from multiple people I know that have went that I mean it's a tailgate event, obviously, and that it's almost everyone they've ever been to is like a Mardi Gras type of situation.
Yeah, I wasn't a big NASCAR fan when I first went. I kind of went just to tag along with the guys, but it was funny, man. I went and bought. I looked like I'd showered in junior shit. It was just I had Budweiser stuff head to toe, but it was fun, man.
Yeah, you had Budweiser stuff.
I gotta fix that light. It's still-
Miller, what about Miller Lite?
No Miller Lite. I
Yeah,
think we were drinking.
Rusty.
I think we were at our budget point was we were drinking natural light though while I was covered in Budweiser stuff.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you guys, if you're out there and you've got a Facebook account, please share the stream on your page so we can get as many people watching as possible. We're going to have a great segment coming up here with this NASCAR segment at 8 at the top of the hour. So please share it if you haven't already. Everybody dives to their phones.
Yeah, we always sat in turn 2. It was crazy. So like my first experience, we're there and they do have it's called happy hour on Friday, and it's kind of the cars are out there just having a good time, and you can hear them start them. It's crazy, but as soon as they come around that we were on turn 2, as soon as they're coming around that turn, it's crazy. And I was almost a fan. Like as soon as it was it.
I mean, if you have any kind of, I don't know. To me, it's inbred. It's a male thing or whatever to me.
Yeah.
And I suppose it isn't for everybody, but the sound of the engines, the speed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I can't get enough of it. It's just I love it. There's nothing like the first turn. The start.
Did you have a driver that you followed?
Well, I'm kind of up there. So 43 was my guy,
Who's that?
Richard Petty. Richard Petty.
I always got him confused with Burt Reynolds when I was growing up.
Yeah, I could see how you would. Not really.
Well, you had Burt Reynolds was Smokey and the Bandit,
Yeah.
so
In a
and they both had the
Trans Am.
mustache and
In a Trans Am.
yeah.
Richard Petty was in a Dodge Charger
He was
or a Superbird.
Burt was also a Knoll.
Yes, he was a running back.
He was a Knoll. You know what? I want to know how much that Superbird weighed back in the days when that was the Plymouth Dodge Daytona. He was in the Daytona. I wonder how much that Dodge Daytona weighed back.
It was all
in the
metal
day.
back then.
When with that big nose on it and that big wing and everything. Do you remember that, Nate? No, you don't. Nate? When were you born?
Yeah,
81. Yeah, that was 10 years before.
They
you
had
were
the big
born.
spoiler on them, like they do the rice. Remember the Rice Rocket years? A couple years back, you'd see all the little
Yeah,
kids
the high
with
ones.
Yeah,
Used to what?
You'd see kids around here putting wings on like neons and shit. It was the goofiest thing ever.
Yeah,
Well, the Dodge Daytona and the Plymouth Superbird were a couple of iconic. There's a lot of weight in those cars, though. No two ways about it.
Hey, during the break, I found a table tennis joke, or not joke, a piece of trivia that I want to share. Ping pong balls have been known to come off the paddle at 160 kilometers an hour. Woo! That's. I mean, that's going. I know they don't weigh much, but if you got hit in the head with
About
it,
96 miles an hour.
yeah, if you got hit in the head with that thing, I'm sure I did when I was a kid by my brother. I just don't remember it. Probably
Yeah,
why I
that's
don't
about
remember
96 miles an hour.
it. Yeah,
That's pretty fast for a ping pong ball.
I don't know the miles per hour to kilometers.
62, what, 0.62, I guess? 0.62.
I can pull a conversion if you need me to.
You don't need to. It's
No, we're good.
0.62.
It's not that important.
All
Kyle Kuntz in the house.
You
I
can
love
look it up and check.
I love seeing all your new golf shit on Facebook. Your golf gear. You need to get the game to back that stuff up.
Whoa. Whoa.
Shots fired.
Shot to the heart, and you're to
that's
blame.
come on, man.
That wasn't
There we
that
go.
bad. Wasn't that bad?
Get Rooms to Go to sponsor you.
That would be awesome. Get some sweet red and yellow stuff.
So
What do you got? Red, yellow, blue?
So speaking of NASCAR, the shortest sentence in the English language is go.
Go.
Yeah. Man, I'm learning all kinds of new stuff. One of them that kind of bothered me today, because I was born with big eyes. I got made fun of them when I was little until my body grew into them, but
Now you get made fun for other things.
exactly. But your eyes never change size when you're born. It's your ears and your nose never stop growing, and I'm kind of freaking out over that. I've already got some assets.
And your feet?
I mean, they imagine they would stop, or you'd be wearing like a 30.
I think they grow a little bit too, but yeah, your ears and your nose.
Yeah,
And his fanny pack.
and my fanny pack keeps growing. The one that looks like the dad bod thing, it's a little bit too big.
The what?
The fanny pack that I have that looks like the dad bod, it looks like I had gastric bypass surgery when I wear that thing.
I call that Schreiber bod now, by the way.
Yes. Schreiber,
The belly one?
Yeah, I've got some friends with that look.
The belly one?
Yeah,
You're talking about without a fanny pack.
without the fanny pack.
I don't like any of them, so what in the hell is going on, man? Clyde Busby out after 5.
Shut up!
How about that shit?
He doesn't even need a mic. We heard that.
Where's Terry? Where's T-Buzz?
We already got
Is
one.
he
We already got one Terry in here.
His name, he'll show up.
There is a mic right next to you, man.
You got to say it 3 times like Beetlejuice?
Well, he pushed that mic away like it was diseased.
Yeah, he did. Where do you think Kirk Cousins is going to go?
I don't know. Maybe Miami needs a quarterback.
I'm hearing rumors about Denver.
Denver needs a quarterback. Denver has needed a quarterback forever. Who do the Browns? The Browns.
The Browns need one, but Von Miller's making a big push for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk. I mean, Kirk could be the guy. He was. I mean, he wasn't bad. I don't know if he had all the pieces around him to be any better than he was.
I'm not sure he fulfilled his "How do you like me now?"
Yeah.
rant.
Yeah, you got to be really good if you're going to be a prick.
Yep.
I mean, he blew. I mean, that game. How do you like me now? You know,
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be really good
But-
if you're going to be a jerk.
probably not the Bears. I think they're set on Trubisky.
Yeah, the Bears are set with him. I think he's only going to get better. The Bears might actually have a quarterback for a little while if they keep him home.
They
then.
need a couple of people around him.
Yeah.
Dude's definitely got a high ceiling. There's something about him. I have a gut feeling that he's just, I don't know, he's not going to come around. I don't know why.
That's funny. I got a gut feeling he's going to be good.
It's weird.
He does play for the Bears, though, and the Bears haven't had a good quarterback in forever.
And just as a reminder, since these guys are forgetting, the hotlines are open, 850-907-7686, and the live chat is in full effect if you guys want to join along with us.
Yeah, chat and let us know what you're thinking. We want to hear your thoughts. Kenny will let us know what you're chatting if we're missing it. That's for sure. Or call in. Most
Either
definitely.
or. I'm barely paying attention to both, so you got a pretty good chance.
There we
I
go.
was running through the ESPN on the break, and they are just awfully they just can't put enough articles out there about LeBron and the Warriors.
Yeah. I don't know.
The big question is,
Why do the Warriors?
Why?
The Warriors don't need him. This is only a thing for LeBron. The Warriors obviously don't need him.
They didn't need Durant either, honestly.
Yeah,
No,
but
they didn't.
But they still won with him, so you can't really say that it wasn't a
Yeah,
hor-
it's maybe a little too late, but I mean, ultimately, let's be honest, they did it without him.
Yeah, and then they also lost one without him, so it's
That's true.
Well, the one they lost was taken away.
yeah, kind of freakish. That was more of a ref deal,
That was an NBA deal, I think.
More conspiracy, huh?
right?
You
Tinfoil.
could call it conspiracy.
Wearing some tinfoil
If you drag your junk over my face, I'm taking a shot at you.
all day.
I have a soundbite for that, but I won't play it.
Is that
Yes.
a Jameson?
I know
did you
which
give me a
one, too.
Jameson?
Thank you for that. No, it's pretty. Since we're going to get into the Super Bowl and all that stuff, there was a pretty.
Oh, we did promise Kenny.
Yeah, there is a there was a story I was reading today that was pretty awesome. It's about a guy named Bernard Reedy that plays for the Patriots. He's kind of a journeyman, but he has been cut. I want to say 6 times, but he's doing pretty well with them. But in the off season, he works for $11 an hour pushing wheelchairs around for people in need.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome story. He's only 5'8", but he's really fast.
Really? What's he, a corner?
No, he's a wideout.
What do you mean only 5'8"?
Hey, I get it.
Hey, I'm 5'8". That's average, right?
Yeah. How? What were your numbers at the combine?
Is it
I'm
average?
I'm averagely short, and I'm okay with that.
Brittany, good to see you. Last night was beautiful.
God, you're mean. You're really mean.
You just got Brittany in trouble. That's not fair, man.
It just pops out. I can't hold back.
James is in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Ramirez.
Right?
That's an outstanding community effort.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, man. You don't hear stories of. You always hear all the bad stories that occur in the professional sports. I love seeing stuff like that.
Nice to have a Raiders fan in the house. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's 2.
Raider Nation, baby.
There's
Repped
2.
with 2.
We got to stick together, man. They're out
Probably
to get us.
Probably one more than the Bear Nation. One.
You know,
Yeah,
at
just you.
At,
And the 49ers. One.
at another bar I hang out at, there's a couple Bears fans. Probably the only place you'll find them.
Where at?
Emerald City.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a ton of Bear fans there, but that's a totally different thing.
Hey.
Hey, I'll give myself the rim shot on that one.
There we go.
Boom. Steve, what's up? How you doing, man? So you want to talk about the Super Bowl?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
You know what? Because after this, we're not going to have much time to talk about it. Anything else? After this break, we've got NASCAR coming up, and
What
then
would help
Pitts-
is if you could give me the number that our special guests are calling in from, so that way I can screen that out just to make sure we don't pick anybody else when it is they're supposed to call in.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't know if they're calling in for Mike or Brandon's, but
Quick text.
I'll try and give you 2. Hey, where's Nate? Nate, could you come talk to Kenny for a second? You can come right around this way. Watch the cables, please.
Does he have them?
He has 'em.
Butterflies taste with their feet.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Let's talk about the Super Bowl.
Let's get there.
So last I looked, the line was 4.5 points.
I gotta take.
Patriots are given 4.
They have to call in regular.
It's weird, man.
It started out at 6.5.
I want to take. I want to bet. I want to bet everything on that. But the way that they've had to come back, you know, I don't know. I don't know that I'm going
When
to.
the line starts moving that way, it dictates you take Philly, right?
Well, that means just there's more confidence in Philly. There's more people betting it, so it's forcing the line down.
Perfect, man. I appreciate your help.
Can't bet in the state of Florida, but if you're in Nevada, that's where people are betting. And
Yes,
it's moving the line.
if you were at a casino where it was legal.
Yes.
Obviously, you can't do that here.
We got it worked out, by the way, Faja. We got it worked out, man.
Excellent.
We'll call them when it's time.
Okay, as you wish. But I still think I like the Patriots. You know, that kind of the been there, done that. I don't. I think Nick Foles probably had maybe one of the games of his career last week. I don't see that game again.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have just this weird feeling, especially after the AFC Championship, that I think the Patriots are going to have to come from behind, and they'll probably end up winning by a point to 3 points. So I don't like the -4.5. Brady almost seems like he's better when he's got to come from behind.
To Kenny's question, then you like Philly's defense.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You don't feel like they're going to be able to run at all.
No. But I think it's going to be another situation where the Patriots are going to come from behind. It's almost like he's almost more comfortable in that moment than he is being ahead.
Gronkowski's going to play.
Yeah, that dude's an animal.
He's a beast. Amendola is a beast.
Texas Tech.
I think that Chris Hogan is going to show this game. He was an integral part of the offense early in the year, and he was last year. Got hurt during the year and was out, and I think you're going to see a little. You're going to see it from him when.
I still love the video of Amendola when he gets the AFC trophy and he's just looking at it and loving it. It's a great moment for him. And then they hand it to an executive, and then they hand it to Belichick, and Belichick doesn't even look at it; just passes it off.
Been there,
done that.
I'm used to that stuff.
Let me get the good one.
Too funny, but yeah. So, but you know what? I think the Patriots defense is going to show up. The line's going to protect Brady. They're going to get a little bit of running in. They're going to get some swing passes in. They're going to get some middle screens in. And Amendola and Brady are going to do their thing, and I think they will cover the 4.5.
I haven't really watched hardly any football. Is James Harrison done anything? Is he a presence at all?
He was all over it in the AFC Championship.
Got you.
He was in there.
You ever seen the videos of that guy working out? It's crazy.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine, man.
He's one of those guys. If they ever came out that he did a bunch of steroids, I wouldn't be like.
He probably had.
I wouldn't be like no.
He probably had 1.5 sacks in the AFC Championship. Yeah, you wouldn't ever say, "Oh, I don't believe he did."
Yeah.
If they came out and proved that he did, but in the AFC Championship, I'd say he had 1.5 sacks, and and was just right there. Had harassed, slapped an arm, or slapped a leg, or was the first one to slide by, or whatever on several plays. He did not look old to me, and he did not look like anybody that you would want to get rid of who would, if you were a Pittsburgh lifer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. You missed it, man. We talked about it. Where were you? He likes your defense.
Yeah, I like the D.
He thinks you got an opportunity.
I think it's going to be under the spread. I'm not saying they're going to win.
All right, yeah, man. Here you go. They're gonna call each other.
Started at 6, moved to 4.5. Is it 4
Yeah, that's
now?
what. Yeah,
Right.
that's what we're saying. Is better confidence is going towards Philly.
Or is that just a trap to pull everybody into?
Well, normally your casinos don't make traps like that. Your casinos are wanting the better money to average out so they get the 10%. So it's not necessarily a trap. Vegas doesn't know who's going to win. Some people think they would or do, but no. The bookies want their 10%, or the casinos want their 10%, and so they have to adjust lines based on who's betting and how it's being bet.
Where the money's going.
Yeah, exactly.
What's a bookie?
I'm sorry I missed
the right
the
books.
Previous bit, but
Oh, you're good.
If they can get to Brady, which we've seen him being attacked before, and the only way to beat them is to get to him.
The only game that I can remember that he was being out is when he hurt his leg, and I think they've got it. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're going to shut down the running game. But in doing that, I don't think you're going to be touching Brady a whole lot.
First time
and he's really good at getting rid of the ball. That guy doesn't keep the ball in his hands very long.
He's built his career and his
2.3
longevity
seconds.
around it.
Yeah, him and Peyton Manning did not hold on to the ball very long. That's why they didn't see the ground a whole lot.
Or Drew Brees.
Or Drew Brees. Drew Brees is already really close to the ground, though. So.
That's, getting shit for being 6'1".
Right? It's crazy.
Well, listen, let's take just a couple of minutes, 5 minutes here. Let me see what time we got. We take 5 minutes here, and we're going to come, and then we're going to.
Buy me 2 minutes. Buy me 2 minutes.
Buy him. Yes, you got it.
Buy me 2 minutes, and then we'll.
You got it.
There's more chickens than people in the world.
Prop bets. What kind of prop bets do we got for the Super Bowl?
I didn't pull any up. That's in Vegas. That's one of the most fun things to do. Like we always go as a big group and we'll sit on a table, and it's not like what team did you pick or whatever. You just have these slew of betting sheets,
Right.
and
Correct.
yeah, they'll do like the coin toss or the longest punt, longest field goal, how many field goals are missed, what's the first score.
What is your favorite bet in that slew of sheet?
Coin flip.
I don't really care about that because it's 50-50, but I always pick like the most punts. That was always
Most punts. I
the
like
most-
the bet. I like the player yardage bets.
Yeah,
Or
player yardage
or
is fun.
catches bets. Or
'Cause
fun.
it's fun to
like, you know what? I want to see what Gronkowski's prop bets are going to be.
I bet Brady's
Over and under 100, plus or minus 7 or 8 catches.
what do you have one that you like?
Brady Stitches break open within the first half.
That's awesome. I wonder if that's a real one.
It could be. It's probably already healed.
Yeah, it's probably is
Are you
close enough
familiar
to heal,
with
but
super glue? It's been a couple weeks, Kenny. It's been 2.5. It's been 2 full weeks.
yeah, I think he's pretty close enough to being healed that you're not going to have. Probably that one's not the best one to take. Another one that I like is passing yards for quarterbacks because during possession, man, you're all enamored with. You don't want them to run the ball. You want them to sling it, and then sometimes the receiver breaks out and gets you 83 yards real quick.
What do you think
So,
the over/under is for Brady?
270-ish, I would think.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think it is for Foles? 200?
220, somewhere in
200?
there. Yeah.
220?
He had his career game. I don't think he can back that up.
I don't think that Foles necessarily – that's what we were talking about last night. I don't think Foles has to have a career game. I think he just doesn't need to screw up. So don't throw the pick. Don't fumble the ball. Manage the game well. And I think the rest of his team he can rely on in that moment. That's why I think that Wentz is so much better than him. But Foles still has he's still a veteran. So as long as he can stay out of his head and
Kind of like Peyton Manning's last game.
Peyton Manning's Super Bowl, fantastic. He was terrible. But
He was horrible.
he did just enough to let his team not let his team down.
Trent Dilfer.
Again, a great defense.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Trent Dilfer.
Oh, absolutely.
He was horrible, though.
Jim McMahon.
He threw – he was 12 of 20 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Still a prick.
Oh, you just don't like him. Now we're getting somewhere.
Will this be a good Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. You know what? We kind of said it the other day, though. I really just how many people were going to watch the Jags versus Minnesota? This game really helps the NFL, especially in a moment when their ratings are down. So you had to have this Super Bowl. Or
Do you think numbers are going to be down?
I think they're going to be down a little bit, but they were going to be severely down with Minnesota and a Jags Super Bowl.
All right, man. Let's take about 5 minutes. We're going to do a little break here, a little more of the runaround after our sponsor breaks, and then a little more of the runaround, and we'll be back with Mike and Brandon and talk a little bit of NASCAR.
All right.
Brought to you by Patel Staffing and HR for your payroll, workers' comp, human resources, benefits, and staffing. Also by 5025, gratitude, giving, health, wealth, and the fountain of youth. Play Harder Radio is sponsored by Rocky's Termite and Pest Control, a family tradition since 1962. Rocky's Termite and Pest Control is family owned and operated and serves the Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties. Give them a call today, 850-380-5408.
I was born at a very young age. Hands in color. Washing dishes on minimum wage now. Hands in color. I had my first time smoking the green. Yeah. Hands in color. Lost my virginity at age 15 now. Hands in color. Sugar white sandy beaches. Sugar white cocaine. Five flags flying in the wind, singing home is where the heart is. Broken for the very first time now. Hands in color. Hands in color. I got stabbed in the parking lot of Walmart. Hands in color. Yeah, you punk assholes, well, you know who you are now. Hands in color. Started my first rock and roll band. Hands in color. Well, after all these years, won't you look where I am? I'm so far gone. Hands in color. This is what you want to see, race. So feel it, race. Now, baby girl, I ain't buying it. Bullshit just won't fly right in. Hands in color. 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 I got friends and family in Pensacola. I got debts and enemies in Pensacola. I fell in love with a Russian stripper in Pensacola. Yeah, the bitch wouldn't give me the time of day, so I left Pensacola. Alright. Sugar white sandy beaches. Sugar white cocaine. Blue angels flying in the wind, screaming home is where the heart is. Oh, for the very first time. Hands in color. Hands in color. Hands in color. Lower Alabama. Pensacola, Florida, USA. Planet Earth.
Woo! All right. The Runaround out of Chicago, Illinois.
No, but yeah, the first band.
That wasn't them?
I have a mic and I forgot about it. Yeah, the first band, the first two songs we played was the Runaround from Chicago, Illinois. Yeah.
Who was that?
They're pretty good. They're sort of a pop punk band. Kind of edge more towards radio play style. Like a Blink 182 or a Green Day, but better is how I would say that.
Nice. I like them.
And then the song we just played, sort of at a lower volume, was Joey B. Wilson and the Hoplites. The name of that song was Pensacola. It's a really cool song. It talks about the
Cool town.
It talks about the high STD
Lived there.
rates and because there's an extremely high STD rate in this town.
Like the west,
unfortunately.
probably like the west side.
You know what's funny about that
It
is
doesn't matter. We have billboards for it.
I have to.
They're not on Pensacola Beach or in Gulf Breeze or in downtown Pensacola.
I'm doing DUI counseling right now, and my first class was Monday night. I have to do 4 additional counseling sessions, and it was all about STDs for an hour
That's crazy.
with pictures.
You need that kind of counseling.
With pictures. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
So we're gonna roll into our NASCAR segment.
Yeah. Just a couple of minutes here. We're going to give Mike and Brandon a call and get them on the air.
So in NASCAR they always turn left unless they're like on the
A road course?
Yeah, unless they're on a road course. Bats always turn left when they fly out of caves. So NASCAR drivers aren't the only. That's
you sure?
true. Yeah, it says it right here. It's got to be true. It's
So
on
that's something that happens often, I'm guessing?
It's on the internet.
Oh, okay. Well, why argue with it?
So it doesn't matter which way the cave is facing.
Probably not. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Wile E. Coyote type stuff.
Celery has negative calories. If you eat celery, it takes more calories to eat a piece of celery than is contained in celery.
Right. It takes more calories to disabilize it than it does to actually than it gives
Yes.
you.
Not for Linda Lovelace. It doesn't take any calories for her to chew it.
That's awesome. You're terrible.
It's true, I think.
So when's the last time you watched a NASCAR race?
Last year, I'm sure I saw one.
Yeah. So I'm ready. You know what?
No, I'm ready to get back into it.
Yeah, I was kind of a junior fan, and then I don't know what happened. I just quit watching it. Just didn't have the same spark. But when these callers come in, man, I'm ready to kind of get educated and get my get a step back into NASCAR and start watching it again.
You know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back this year.
I thought he was done.
He's going to be the Grand Marshal.
No, I got you. He's kind of like the dude in Ohio State with a band where they holds the thing up.
Yeah, the drum major.
Yeah.
That's not quite befitting, but
You know what I mean. I just had to throw that Ohio State.
it's 8:05. Right on. So we're waiting to get them on the line. I guess we decided to do this. There's no doubt they would have.
So once again, introduce our caller, who he is, and before he actually gets on the line.
Mike Johnson, former All-American at Alabama, 2008, 2009 All-American, 2010 third-round draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons.
What position?
Offensive line. 6'6", about 305, somewhere like that.
Likes to eat.
Big man.
Is he still 305?
Big man.
All right, so we've got him on the line now. If you guys are ready for him.
Turn up the. Is this mic? What's wrong with the mic?
I muted that one when that other guy had it.
That's awesome.
As it should be.
All right, so you got guests on
Give
the line,
us a
guys.
minute and then. All right, Mike, we got you and Brandon on the line.
What's up, guys? How's it going, guys?
Good. It's been a minute since.
Yeah, since we talked to you back in football season, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, and obviously Bama wound up in the right spot. No, Dean will back me up on that, and roll tide. Roll tide.
Did you
Roll Tide.
Obviously, you were probably at the game.
Yeah, I was up here at the game, obviously in Atlanta, my backyard, and weather was not very good, and the wait lines were long and all that, but the beer tasted really good, and then the confetti got stuck in the pockets and the socks.
There we go. I like it.
Yeah, I asked.
Not a bad thing to complain about, actually.
Mike's on the East Coast. I asked him if he could stay up till 9 o'clock there, and he said to talk about NASCAR, he could certainly do it. And then I think Brandon mentioned the.
That's right, man. Yeah, go ahead.
We got a little delay here, so we'll figure that out.
No, I mean it's a direct phone call, so if there's a delay, I mean there's nothing I can do to work that out.
Yeah, no worries.
No, we're good. No, you guys go ahead. I was spouting up that I was going to say something about Brandon talking about it being the most American sport. So,
Oh, we were catching
There's
beans in
no doubt
Mobile.
about that.
Oh yeah, I've been out there catching the bees tonight. Just walked in here to my truck, left my wife out there with some friends, and I said I got a little spot to do here about a little Americana, little horsepower down there in Daytona, and I slid on here in the truck, and we're about to talk a little racing.
You're over in Mobile, right, Brandon?
I'm in Mobile, yes.
Awesome. So we got Brandon in Mobile and Mike in Atlanta. We're going to make this a weekly segment. These guys love to talk about NASCAR, and we're going to get a little more involved in it. We're going to, make it a weekly segment at this time, and we're going to do a little build-up here to the Daytona 500, and I think it's going to be a great season. I think this could be a great segment for all of us.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it, man. But my driver's coming off the championship, Martin Truex Jr. in the '78 car, and I think NASCAR. I think obviously it's been a downturn in it, but it's the great American sport, and I think it's headed towards some more predominance here in the next few years.
What do you think caused?
Yeah, I second that.
What do you think caused the downfall?
Yeah, well, Dane can talk more on that probably than I can, but I feel like NASCAR expanded really quick. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of originality around the sport. I mean, they've done the same schedule for years now, and it's gotten kind of stale. And what they did was expand so fast that they tried to reach people on the West Coast and up north, and everybody out in Vegas and everybody out in Arizona. That sometimes, in my opinion, they forgot where their true fans were, and those are down in the South. And those are the racetracks like Rockingham and Darlington, and I think they're going to try to turn back to that here in the next few years. Though I can feel it.
One thing.
I agree with that, Mike. I think that they kind of lost a little bit of their roots. North Wilkesboro, Rockingham, up there in the North Carolina, the East Coast was where NASCAR was born. In Daytona, racing on the beach and so forth, and now it's become so technical, it's become so advanced, and so corporate, as some of us call it, that it's just kind of lost some of its heart and soul. But I think with some of the rule changes they're trying to go back to this year, that they're going to try to get back to a little bit of the grassroots foundation of NASCAR.
I'm a huge UFC guy, and in the 2000s, UFC. Vince McMahon had kind of he bought in, they traded some shares of WWE for the UFC, and they were branding athletes, and that's when your Brock Lesnar's, your Ronda Rousey's, and towards the end of it, your Conor McGregor's were coming along. And I remember NASCAR, they were really good at branding their drivers as these mega superstars, and I just don't see that the same branding as I remember seeing, especially when Senior, Junior, and some other guys had come along.
And that's what I was going to say as an outsider, as a non-NASCAR driver. What I remember growing up about the sport specifically was the amount of superstar drivers it has had. And it seems like, it's more about the brand now than it is about the guy that's in the car driving. And that's to me, that's a direct correlation to any type of downtick that the industry might have, is that it doesn't have the faces now that it once did back for me, it would be like, the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, I'll tell you one thing right now.
You might know this guy, you guys.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Yeah, they know me. Let me tell you, if you look back, and this is going to go back a ways, 2011, Gillette came on board with NASCAR, and they went with the young guns, the baby faces, and they had that big campaign, that big push back then. And now you look at it today, and Kyle Busch wants to come out and say, that's stupid. That we're not going to put these young guys out there and let them face what we did. I don't necessarily agree with that. Bubba Wallace was actually a driver.
All he's trying to do is sit there and complain about himself. That's all he's trying to do, is say that he didn't get the recognition he wanted to get back when he was because he fell in that middle portion there. He wasn't a young gun, and he's not one of the young ones now. He was that middle guy. And now what he's wanting to do is sit there and complain about, I wasn't a young gun, I didn't get publicized, and now you're trying to take all the focus off of me and put it on these young guys that haven't won a thing. Well, I got news from Kyle Busch. It's about to get dicey for him, buddy, because some of these young guys got some hot rods coming.
They about to
Yeah,
put him in the
there's
wall.
no doubt about that, Dean. I completely agree with everything you're saying, Dean. You can talk about Kyle Busch like you want to. He can talk about the young guns or the baby face or whatever he wants to. Fact is, that Kyle Busch ain't likable. That's Kyle Busch's problem. Nobody likes the guy. He gets booed at every track he goes to, talked down at every track he goes to, wants to blame everybody else in the sport for his downfall this year, even though he finished the year second driving that Rocket Toyota he had. And you know what? NASCAR has to turn on to the next generation of drivers if everybody's going to hate Kyle Busch. You have to turn on to
Exactly,
Alan
Mike.
William Byron.
I don't even eat M&Ms anymore.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the.
I mean, when Kyle Busch throws a punch, I'm not sure he could even put a little dent in the car. You know, when he went after Joey Logano last year, you know that was pretty embarrassing for NASCAR. When you look back at the Cale Yarborough days back here when the 500 first televised, and we had the fight of the century in NASCAR, and now Kyle Busch is the face of the fight. I mean, that's when it's time to hang it up, buddy.
He always he reminds me of a kid when you were growing up. You were at that kid's house playing basketball, and he fell. He would take his ball and go home, and the game was over.
Yep.
Like he had
Exactly.
been hugged a little bit too much.
Oh,
John
you
Kruk?
got it.
Oh, that's
Yes.
a different ball. I'm sorry.
Right.
Was that Brandon that said Martin Truex was your driver?
That's Mike's driver.
Mike's driver.
That's me. That's Mike.
Mike,
That's Mike.
he's
Mike
gonna.
likes the Toyota guys.
I like the Toyota. I like winners. I like guys that wear the 78 across the car. I like guys that are a little bit different. Man, he's from out west. He's a Denver-based driver. Everything he's been through, and he's still an incredibly humble guy. And just
Chevy.
now reaching his peak in his late 30s. So I think he's the
Chevy.
guy you can root for.
Yeah.
I was
I'm a bow tie guy myself. You know, I like the tradition.
Yeah,
Cool.
Are people still going towards brands like they did in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, where you were brand heavy as a fan? Like Ford or
I
Chevy
believe
or
brand
Toyota?
makes a big part of NASCAR. Yeah, I think the manufacturer is still very prevalent. You know, every year that we've gone down to Daytona for the last 3-4 years, you know, all you see are Chevrolet tents, Ford tents. Last few years, you see, you know, Toyota's making a mark. Branding is very prevalent still, and I think that most people still try to pick their drivers based off what type of manufacturer that they like, whether it be Ford, Chevy, Toyota, and I think that that still drives the consumer as far as you know, wanting to focus on races, watch races, attendance, things like that. I think that still drives the consumers.
Cool.
Pocketbook for sure.
I remember.
I definitely agree with you, Dean. And I think when you look at, I think they're all pushing each other. I think when you look at the manufacturers, they're pushing each other. I think that, you know, TRD, obviously Toyota Racing Development had a good year last year with Kyle Busch and with Martin Truex, and man, now you got. Now you got Chevy switching cars. There's some rumors out there that next year Ford might be switching cars as well. And I think these brands are all pushing each other because they want to be at the top of the sport. I'm with you though. I think you make your selection based on what they're driving at first, and if you're okay with it, then you can ride with it and find you a good driver.
That's definitely true. I've been a Chevy guy my whole life, and the reason I asked about Truex, Mike, was because I think he's going to be driving one of the new Chevys this year, right?
No, Mark Truex is a Toyota driver, and you know it's a sore spot for me. You know, I drive a GMC myself, so Truex being a Toyota kind of hurts. But
he
he's
tested
one of
it.
those guys that I think transcends what the branding is going to be. So he's one of those guys that, you know, it's hard not to root for him. He's well liked.
I read that wrong. He had tested the Chevy, I guess, is all it was when they did some testing on the car. But I don't know why that was.
Yeah, definitely probably did. They've been testing all day.
There's also a great point to be made right here. You know, last year Toyota came in and they pretty much swept the whole circuit. I mean, Truex went ahead and took the championship, and you know, here we sit. Chevrolet hasn't done hardly anything, and I feel like they felt the pressure. And now, you know, we're getting ready to be introduced to the ZL1, where, you know, Toyota was in that same position last year, went in there and dominated the whole circuit. So you know what, buckle
for me-
up because
for me,
I
what's
feel like
kinda-
Chevy's coming.
For me, what's kind of strange is so that Z01, that's a badass car, even if you see it on the streets. When Juan Pablo Montoya started driving the Camry, I just couldn't relate to a badass driving a Camry. So it was hard for me to pick up with these guys that that's what they were
I
driving.
couldn't relate to
Absolutely.
Juan Pablo being a badass, first of all.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Exactly. He was good on the road courses. I was never a fan.
That joker went out there and hit a jet dryer and caused. I mean, that was 500 several years ago. That's when I first met Nasty and Mike, and that joker
was our
went out
first-
there and
yeah,
hit a
that's when I
jet
first
dryer
met
on
you.
Monday night, and that race started on 11 o'clock Sunday morning, didn't end until about 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning because of that jet dryer incident. So
Congratulations.
I ain't got a whole lot for Juan Pablo.
Congratulations,
Should
Juan
have
Pablo.
stayed in Indy.
Yeah, but I'd much rather root for a guy that's driving a Z01 than
Yeah.
somebody that's driving a Camry.
Agreed.
I have a really quick question. It's kind of
Oh,
goes,
no, there ain't no doubt about that.
and this kind of goes back to the statement I made a little bit earlier about just the way that fandom is somewhat changed within NASCAR. And like I said, this is from an outsider looking in. I've never been a huge fan of the sport, never followed it very much. But I just remember back when, there was guys like Rusty Wallace and guys like this that were huge. I mean, he had tons of fans. And if you go back, and not to say the man didn't have a storied career, because he absolutely did, but when you go back and look at the numbers, he wasn't really one of the big money winners. He just really wasn't. But yet he was able to sustain this huge fan base, and you just don't see that anymore. It's the top 5 drivers, and they're the only ones that get love. It may be a little bit more than 5, granted. I'm exaggerating maybe a little bit or underdoing it, but what happened? Why did that change specifically? What is it in the game that made it where there's there's really no underdog? You're just unheard of, or you're a superstar.
I think that really goes back
Yeah,
on.
back in the day.
No,
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead,
I
guys.
think that, the story really starts with a guy named Jeff Gordon. That's where the story really starts for me. And a guy named Jeff Gordon comes in, and he's Rainbow Warriors. He's slick back hair. He's California. Yeah. He kind of goes marches the beat of his own drum. And there used to be this mystery about NASCAR drivers. You didn't know much about them. You just knew they showed up wearing Wranglers and spitting the dip.
They were badass.
They were part of the same people you
that's
were.
the mystique.
But now,
that's the same as a rock star.
Now, and now you've got all these.
I'm gonna disagree with that, Mike.
Snapchat. All these guys now are on Snapchat. All these guys now are on Instagram. All these babyface drivers are 18 and 19 years old, and there ain't no mystery about them. You just, it just is what it is, and those guys.
No,
right now.
I can't.
Nowadays, that they all wear tights and ride their bikes on around the campgrounds.
Wear yoga
back
pants?
in the day, Rusty Wallace, to answer your question, no, he drove the number 2 Miller Lite car, and he didn't really care what you thought about him or what you didn't. He was going to tell you what he thought about him. There was less media back then. There obviously wasn't any social media, and him and Dale Earnhardt Sr. had a love-hate relationship. They'd go after each other, and then they'd come back at each other the next week. And, Dale Earnhardt always said it pays more to win, and Rusty'd always get pretty pissed when Earnhardt spin him out and win at Bristol. But, hey, that's the way NASCAR went.
That's
These
awesome.
days, it's, hey, I don't need to spin that guy out because he, he's got a sponsor that is looking at me for next year. That's the way the world works
Well,
these days.
Dean, I'll go ahead and cut you off right there. I mean, the reason you're not spinning them out, you got 15 HD and 4K cameras around the track. Can't do that anymore. It's just that, this technology has caught up to some of these guys, and it's not their fault per se. But I understand why some of the viewers that have been watching from the southeastern United States have been drawn away from what these guys are putting on the track. The name branding of themselves.
Yeah, it's all about themselves. It's all about the corporate sponsorship side of it is what is killing the sport. However, I do believe there's a lot of promise in these guys that are up and coming, that are kind of getting away from that and trying to build, because they don't have any name recognition other than you say a Chase Elliott, he's son of Bill Elliott. But other than him, really, and he still races his tail off every week. I don't see a whole lot of name recognition. These guys are out there trying to race and make a name for themselves, which is something we haven't seen in a long time because of all the veterans leaving the sport in the last few years.
Guys, I don't want to hijack the broadcast at all, but I do want to put Brandon Dean on the spot with one thing. Brandon Dean is selecting a new driver this year. He's a Dale Jr. guy, and it's going to be a big...
Dale Earnhardt Sr. guy.
He's a Dale Earnhardt fan, so it's going to be a big deal for him to show up at the 500. I think Dean needs to go ahead and tell the audience out there who exactly he's going to be rooting for and why, so that, you know what, when we get to the checkered flag at the Daytona 500, we can tell Dean what we think about his driver and his performance, and if he really didn't care what anybody else thought.
Bring it, Dean.
Yeah, well, I grew up a Dale Earnhardt fan and Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan. Let me clarify that. And, you know, I one of those moments, you still remember where you were when he hit that wall. And
We talked about that today.
And my dad raised me on Dale Sr. and everything else. And, you know, when he passed, I, like so many others, went over there as a junior. And then last few years, I really have had a bad taste in my mouth about Junior. Even kind of got rid of some of my gear last year in Brown's Campground after the 500, after seeing that performance. And,
I was there.
My new driver is going to be Chase Elliott, number 9. I'm
Right
going for the number 9. Like we talked about earlier here in this segment, manufacturer has much to do with it. I've always been a GM guy. I've drove a bow tie my whole life, and I can't sway away from that. There's several drivers that, you know, probably might go on top of my list other than Chase if they were in the bow ties, if they've chosen to go to the Blue Oval or over there to the foreign Toyota. So I can't stray away from the bow tie.
Well, that's awesome, man. I guess if we're going to do this show and do this segment, that Chad and I are going to have to come back with next week and give you our drivers for the year.
Absolutely. You guys got to really dig down and
That's
figure out what you're going to do.
Important part for me, man. That to me is the most important part when you get into NASCAR fandom. You have to pick a driver. Otherwise, you're just looking at a sheet and seeing who finished where. You pick a driver, you stick with him, you get a T-shirt, you get a hat, and you ride that guy all the way to victory lane. That's the way you're.
And Mike, I don't want to hijack your little speech right here, but do we want to talk about NASCAR fantasy and who won the inaugural year of ours?
Well, Brandon Dean definitely came in first.
I sure did.
NASCAR
Sure did.
fantasy, league last year.
Yeah, you did.
Getting ready to jump this thing back off. And it sounds like an Auburn fan living in the past, so you might want to go ahead and turn your attention to
No,
2018.
that sounds like an Alabama fan talking about the 2017 season and Tua over here launching that 50-yard strike right through Georgia's heart. You know,
That's awesome.
Alabama.
Roll Tide.
We talk about 17 every year, which is what we just got, and that our attention immediately turned to 18. But we're still going to talk about that pass.
Oh, you're always going to talk
You sound
about
like
that
Auburn fan
pass.
talking about the kick stick still.
Oh, don't you put that on me now. You made me sound like a Jeff Gordon fan when you say that about me.
It was actually pretty cool. We were watching the national title at Captain Funds, and they run a big Alabama club, and it. As a non-fan of Alabama or Georgia, it's awesome, especially in those moments like that, to watch the guys go from the fans go from the lowest lows to the highest highs and then back. It was just watched Alabama fans be defeated after Tua got sacked like it was already done, and then he sends that pass, and man, it was like everybody had just done a bunch of drugs, and it was absolutely crazy.
It was pretty ecstasy.
Well, I don't want to take away from you going from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, but I did witness a ton of Georgia fans up here in Atlanta go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, and I got to tell you, it wasn't as good as seeing Bama go to the highest of highs, but it was a good second place to see Georgia go to the lowest of lows up here.
You know, Georgia was trying to end that 37-year drought. We were trying to end that 1-year drought, so it was a little bit different.
Wow.
I can tell this is going to be a good year. What's the NASCAR season's just going to lead right into football, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's going to be a dual show.
It works hand in hand.
Yeah.
We just got the our NASCAR fantasy set up this
looking
year,
for these guys.
thanks to
Drop that
Mike.
one, yeah.
And you know, we were talking about that today on a little group text, and you know, I have absolutely missed every single aspect of that alarm going off on Sunday and getting ready to put my picks in for whatever track they're at, you know, whatever part of the country they're in.
We might do a fantasy.
It's
between
really
you and I.
honestly one of the best fantasy groups that I've ever been in my life.
I actually won one before, and that's when I was following it. But Faja, maybe just you and I do the fantasy, just us two, and we'll battle it out.
Hey,
each
you can
week.
join our fantasy. I mean, let's talk about it right now because it'd be a great little
Be a great
piece
part
of
of
this
the show.
segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, let's
we
set
could
up
track it on the
James
show.
and
It'd be
Chad.
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be
All right,
awesome.
yeah, it's, there ain't a membership cap. You just have to be willing to put in an entry fee, and it's also a $10 per week fee if you miss an entry. And you pick the drivers you think are going to win. You pick some value picks, and at the end of the weekend, you can go ahead and fill them in on what has happened when you win the weekend.
There we go.
I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know what happens.
All right.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, we're going to take a little break here. I appreciate you guys calling in. I think this is going to be a fun segment and a fun year, and I'm looking forward to you guys getting us back involved in NASCAR and having a great year.
Yeah, we'll bring you along for sure. Me and Dean will be on this horn every week here on Thursday talking about that track coming up and what drivers are going to be in victory lane.
Good deal.
Won't miss it. Can't wait to bring you a show for y'all in 2 weeks. Heading down to Browns in our Class A rig. That's going to be pretty epic.
Oh,
Appreciate y'all having us on.
yeah, we hadn't even talked about that next week. Hey, got a lot of talk about prep week.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, guys, thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, brother. Thank you, brother.
All right, roll
All right,
tide.
roll tide.
Roll Tide.
Go Gators.
All right, we're going to take a little pause for the cause, and then we're going to come back with Brian Ahotz. I think I got that right. Maybe close.
He's saying close enough. You
Not the
reached
way
into
it's
it.
spelled. I know that. Not the way it's spelled. I know that. And I think we're going to have a little more Roll Tide action. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes here on Play Harder Radio.
Brought to you by Tell Staffing and HR for your payroll, workers' comp, human resources, benefits, and staffing. Also by 5025, Gratitude, Giving, Health, Wealth, and the Fountain of Youth. Play Harder Radio is sponsored by Rocky's Termite and Pest Control, a family tradition since 1962. Rocky's Termite and Pest Control is family owned and operated and serves the Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties. Give them a call today, 850-380-5408.
walk in too smooth. Let him sneak. Let's let him sneak in there.
Actually, I can steal that.
All right. Yeah. Have a seat right here. All right. Put the headset on.
Yo, it's the bad man cutting you up. You fucking just suck. The madman fucking your guts and covered in blood. The godlike devil in the back of the class. Got a 38 special, put you flat on your ass. I'll take you back to the crib, the same one where I live. After I tie on the bib, I'll take a bite at your rib. Man, I get high like the last sunrise you're seeing. Then I'll come for your neck like a vampire feeding the bleeding. No reason to panic. I'll leave you dry. I'm the last man standing.
Yeah.
A few minutes of war, a few minutes of gore. A lifetime of wondering why the fuck you ignore me. The type of story where the bad guy wins. Seem like Oracle, that's only the bad rhymes in. I'm the time ender. Where the
Didn't fade at all. You're on.
Didn't fade at all, did it? Hey, it's a show in progress. All right, welcome back to Play Harder Radio here at the Break Beach Bar. Out here on Pensacola Beach, brought to you by Tell Staffing and HR and Rocky's Termite and Pest Control. We've got a guest with us right now. I've got Brian Ahatz.
Nailed it.
Did I nail it?
You nailed it.
Damn right I did. I'm a professional. I work in the business. But Brian is a sports writer for the Pensacola News Journal, right?
Nailed that as well. Yeah.
He's saddled with having Tony Adame as his boss.
That's true.
Good guy.
I
I
mean,
like him. Met
yeah.
him last week. Cool guy.
I mean, could you,
yeah, you
I
don't
mean,
work for him.
Shout out to Tony out there. What a
Big guy, though, would be riding your ass. Big guy would be riding your ass like that all the time. But he whooped my ass in tennis this morning.
He goes out there a lot. He puts in the work.
He does.
To be a
I'm going to make him pay for it, though, the next time we play.
You said that you were going to let him win when you woke up this morning. I heard you.
I said I would never say that I would let somebody win.
You wrote it down on paper. I read it.
How did I know that was going to come? Oh, there he is, over in the shadows. Over in the
I
shadows.
was looking for him. I was wondering for a
I'm
second.
like, where in the hell is that coming from?
Shut up!
I love that. So, Brian, you had a big day.
Yeah, I
Look
did,
at this.
yeah.
Look at this. Look at this guy smiling, man. He did have a big day. He did have a big day.
that.
So,
I'd say
so there's a recruit in town that some people are after in the SEC. Jacob Copeland. Tell us a little bit about your day.
Well, I mean, Copeland, it's more than just the SEC after him. This guy's got 32 offers to all just wherever you could want to play college football. He has the opportunity to go there when he signs on Wednesday, February 7th. He's the number 13 wide receiver in the nation. He's been on the recruiting scene since he's been a freshman. So it's all really come to a peak. Now he's in his senior year at Escambia High School, and yeah, I mean, he's the man with the plan. So his signing day is actually going to be on ESPN on Wednesday at 1:30. So
it will be live. His will.
Yeah. The ESPN.
Is that when he's going to announce?
Yeah. He will. People will tell you. He'll tell you he's going to come down to Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee. He was originally committed to Florida, but decommitted, but he has still, been showing interest there.
Has he received an offer from any of those? Or does he have an offer from the other two?
Oh yeah. He's got offered to Alabama, Tennessee, Florida.
How'd he get his Tennessee
Clemson,
offer? Isn't that I think that was an interesting story, right?
Yeah,
the Tennessee offer.
They've all been pretty interesting.
Didn't that happen today?
No, he's had that one.
He's had that one.
Yeah, he's I mean, his recruitment's essentially closed down. I mean, he's just waiting to make up his mind now. And I mean, Coach Pruitt was in town yesterday. Coach Saban was in town today, and he's headed to Florida tomorrow for an official visit. So he's been on the move really all throughout high school, but especially these last couple of weeks, he's been a hot commodity for sure.
Chad, how do you feel about him decommitting from Florida?
Kind of understandable. There was a coaching change. Originally, he had committed when what was our coach? Who was our coach last year? McElwain. But he decommitted when that coaching change was moved. But now with Mullen there's always that shot that we can get him back. Mullen's a heavy recruiter. He gets a lot of guys from the state of Florida, man. So hopefully he's got enough to push and make that move. But it's hard to go up a guy that's got as many rings as Saban.
Speaking of Saban, if I heard correctly, Only he was in town today, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To see Copeland.
Yeah, as well. He's with assistant coach Mike Loxley as well too, who's
Okay.
also visited Copeland earlier this month.
Right.
So.
And if I heard correctly through the grapevine, only one person got to interview Saban today.
That's right, man. That's
Who-
right.
who was it?
Well, it's yours truly right here, man. I was out there hustling. I didn't.
Dude, roll Tide.
I didn't see. I was the only. I didn't see any other media out there. I was just kind of vibing in the principal's office. Frank Murphy, great principal out there at Escambia High School, and him as well as head coach Mike Bennett and a lot of the assistant coaches at Escambia. You know, I got great bonds with coaches all across the area, but Escambia is always really good about keeping me in the loop, keeping us at the Pensacola News Journal in the loop. Got the tip that Pruitt was coming yesterday, and then also heard that Saban was coming today, and I said, hey, I'm coming out there, and they're like, come on. So kind of waited it out. Usually I thought there would be a handful of. I didn't think I'd be the only person.
Play Harder Radio should have been out there. I'd have cut that shit off.
Right. Yeah. Well, so yeah, he was there, and I didn't. I guess it wasn't exactly by the book. I didn't break any rules. I just kind of. I don't want to say I ambushed Coach Saban, but I just went up, introduced myself, told him I wasn't there to talk about any current recruiting or anything like that. But obviously, there's Coach Saban's been to this area over the years multiple times. He's got several great players to come through and make big impacts for his program that have come from this area. So just wanted to talk to him about that and a little bit about what he thought about Pensacola. So I got according to my voice recorder app, I think I had about 2 minutes and 33 seconds with him today. So it was
was he pretty tough to interview?
About 2 minutes and 33 seconds,
give or take
33 and a third seconds.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Was he pretty tough to interview, or was he pretty candid in his answers?
Yeah, I think once he knew what I was trying to talk about, I think he was actually very, very, very smooth. It was great from that point. It was convincing assistant coach Loxley to kind of let it happen, because I think that's not exactly how they would want somebody to go through the their public relations department, I'm sure, and and like I said, it was maybe a bit of an ambush, but I think obviously they don't know me. Coaches around here know that I'm not out to make anybody look bad or make anybody look bad. I'm just trying to get his really opinions about players from Pensacola. And the city of Pensacola and football in Pensacola really was the big thing. So once I kind of was able to talk to Coach Saban and tell him what I wanted to do, he went right with it, and it was real smooth. Got some great stuff out of him. So it was. That's
awesome. How's he? Does he feel? Does he feel good about the recruiting class? I posted your article. Brian's article is on the Play Harder Radio page. So please go to the page, visit the article. Like it. I don't care if you like it or not. Like the damn thing. And what are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Just getting in my space here. But, check the article out. Thanks. That's in my eyes now. But check his article out and check out. Is the interview on there too? I saw a video at the top.
Yeah.
Did you get a video of your interview?
He wasn't up for that. He said it wasn't fair. Yeah, that's what he told me. So
what did he say it was?
He said it wasn't fair. He didn't want it out on a video of him out on the internet, kind of just like out of the blue like that. Me just approaching him, but he was really, he really was a class act and is a class act. For allowing me to get quotes from him, so I was able to record his voice and transcribe the quotes and implement those into the story and so yeah, definitely check that out on head to the Play Harder
check
Radio
out
page,
the article. Yeah, it's on the Play Harder Radio.
There's not to cut you off, I'm sorry. There's some good stuff on PensacolaNewsJournal.com/sports as well, and especially I'm sure I'll get a chance to remind you again, but Wednesday, February 7th, all day PNJ.com/sports. Signing day coverage. We're gonna be shutting it down. We'll have everything, all 13 area schools, whatever they got signing. Whether it's football or other sports, but I mean primarily focus on football, of course. Let's not lie. Make sure you tune in to pnj.com/sports, especially on signing day, from midnight to midnight. Signing day is going to be like a holiday for us in the sports department. So we'll have a lot of great content, videos, stories, images, photo galleries, Follow me on Twitter at PNJ Bryan, and I won't lead you wrong. Follow
Right
me,
on.
I will not lead you wrong.
I'm on there too at Faja Life and at Play Harder Radio, and
All right.
but we'll connect.
Yeah, we'll link up
on there. But I think Alabama. Did you talk to him a little bit at all about how he feels about the class for this year?
That's kind of a no-no. I don't
Yeah.
think I think that might have been a deal breaker for me if I would have pulled that question out. But
I think they've got about 8 spots left, from what I understand, and people are talking about they've got about 8 spots left. They only show 1 5-star right now, but they're feeling like they're going to close on signing day with 5 more 5-stars.
If history repeats itself, I'm sure they're not losing any sleep or losing any more sleep than they have in the past years about this signing class, especially when you close the season out the way they did with that.
They're. I don't think worried. I mean, who's worrying? Standing in front of me is my friend Terry Williams, and he's a Miami Hurricanes fan, and in that, because of that, we got to talk about Patrick Surtain. Because of that, we got to talk about Patrick Surtain and Tyson Campbell, 2 cornerbacks coming out of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Which I don't think Miami's going to get either of them. Unfortunately for Miami, I think I don't know if you're familiar with those two.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right,
South Florida high school football. I mean,
right,
they're doing
American
it like
heritage.
Else, so.
I think Surtain's going to end up at Alabama. And I think Campbell is going to end up, as much as Miami would like to get Campbell, I think he's going to end up at Georgia.
Man, it's pretty crazy that I read today that out of the top 300, 20% of those are from the state of Florida. That 20% of that 300 come from the state of Florida, which is nuts. But I read another article where Florida schools are having a harder time retaining them. And 19 of those, that 20%, there's 19 that are going to the Big Ten.
You got the numbers, man. Coming out with the numbers, that's good stuff.
The Big Ten. None of them, unfortunately, might.
But Florida, the state of Florida, high school sports, they breed dogs, man. There's some real ballers that come out of Florida. Obviously, California, I'm a little bit partial to. That's where I was born and raised. But California.
What part?
Ooh, what part?
Long Beach.
Oh, dude,
LBC,
are you kidding
man.
me?
Oh,
dude?
yeah.
I was, dude. Hey,
Snoop Dogg,
See,
Sublime.
this is a. You know what? I so don't want to be politically correct.
Okay.
dude,
I like
I'm from
that.
San Pedro.
Are
That's
you-
right
Let's
across
But
the
I will
harbor,
be.
man.
Let's go,
With the-
Cali. Cali in
Visit
the
Thomas
house.
Bridge, baby.
Are we
That's
gonna
what
go?
I'm
Are we
talking
gonna play some?
California love.
Yeah, right.
California love.
There you go. De La Salle.
What about
that's right.
Cincinnati Moeller?
Long Beach Polly's pretty
Yeah.
raw,
Oh,
too,
yeah.
man.
LP Pauly, baby.
They got some ballers, too, man. I see you out there. Texas also. Great state.
South Florida's not a
Well,
high school.
Texas is like
Produces athletes.
Texas high schools have better stadiums than most colleges.
Yeah, right?
What, Terry?
He's selling the Miami
Well, he's
snake oils.
He's
here.
selling it all day long. He's a Miami. He's true blue Miami. True.
Whatever
true-
colors they are, nobody
true
cares.
coral and orange, whatever it is. This is not a Miami hat of any kind, by the way. It's an Orioles hat.
It looks like you work construction today.
Thank you. You're going to have to come back on the show. You got a knack for talking on the radio.
Let's get it. I'm here, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I got more
You're
for
way
it.
better than Adame.
At tennis.
I'm going to pay for that one. I'm going to end up paying for that one on Monday.
Hey,
I wanna
don't you
have a
worry,
talk
man.
With
Listen,
him and Tony about recruit
listen,
day. Trying to
I
get
got you.
PMBN in the mix.
You're on the show here with us. I got your back with that fucker. Don't worry. About it. I got that shit covered.
All right, man.
Tell me about Pruitt snaking that call today or whatever, though.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the craziest things I've seen. This is my fourth year working with the News Journal, covering a couple crazy things happened back there. But I'll start with that story. So, Copeland at some point I didn't see when he met with Saban, but obviously. Let's be real. They met today. He was at Escambia High School to talk. Nick Saban was at Escambia High School to talk with Jacob Copeland. After that happened, Copeland's hanging out in the principal's kind of lounge area. I'm back there. There's administration from the school. They want to wait. They're waiting for Saban to take pictures with him. Copeland's there chopping it up with a couple of his buddies and underclass teammates, right? So Copeland's just chilling. He's talking about his recruitment saga. This guy's been all over the nation lately and throughout, really his high school career, taking visits and stuff like that. So he's just filling these young bucks, if you will, in on what it's been like for him. They're just chopping it up. Copeland's iPhone starts buzzing, and it says Coach Pruitt, and it has a little orange emoji. And so they're all excited there. And one of the guys' name is Frank Peasant, and he's a sophomore stud linebacker. This is one of the guys talking with Copeland. Stud linebacker. He's going to play both ways for Escambia next year. If you didn't hear about him this year, you're going to hear about him next year if you keep up with high school football in this area, because this guy's an absolute baller. He was a Pensacola News-Journal first-team All-Area. Anyways, back to my story. Pruitt buzzes in on Copeland's iPhone. Copeland picks it up. It's so casual. It's like you would think it'd be like, "Good afternoon, sir," something like that. And he's like, "What's going on, man?" And they're talking for a couple minutes, and Copeland's like, "Yeah, your big dog's up here in the other room right now," and because of course Pruitt used to coach under Nick Saban, right? So and they're kind of chatting back and forth a little bit. Copeland out of nowhere goes, "Man, why haven't you offered Frank yet?" Like talking about this guy Frank Peasant, the sophomore linebacker at Escambia, and I didn't eavesdrop the entire conversation, but I kind of cracked up, and Frank's sitting right across from Jacob when he says this. So then after that, I kind of get lost in at that point. Some point around that time, I go talk. I'm talking with Coach Saban in the other room. These two totally different locations, but I'm walking with Saban, talking to him in the other room. Do what I get my interview, and I'm out and I'm headed back to the office, and then on Twitter, Frank Peasant tweets out, and he mentions me. All these guys, when they get offers and get cool stuff happens, they mention me, so I know about it. Frank goes, "Very blessed to receive my second offer ever from the University of Tennessee." So it all stemmed off. I'm not the greatest storyteller, but
I'm just saying you want to know Brian Ahats.
That's the kind of clout that Jacob Copeland has. So, and I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, he's definitely a baller. A lot of people are hard on him for loving the spotlight and maybe soaking up a little bit more of the attention, maybe bragging on himself a little bit. But when you're blessed with those kind of skills, and obviously he's put in the work,
we'll see if it's bragging or not. If it's not bragging if you show out.
Right on. So, and I also got to give a shout out to Copeland too, because if it wasn't for him and me and his relationship, I might not even have got to interview Coach Saban. Because I walk up, introduce myself to Coach Saban, and tell him who I am, and I could tell he's a little bit uneasy about it because he can't talk about any kind of present recruiting stuff. So I'm like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about Alex Leatherwood, who's a current offensive lineman. He played at Washington High.
Where's he going?
He's at Alabama.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So he filled in the national championship game. A guy named Jonah Williams, Alabama starter on offensive line, got injured. Leatherwood fills in the second half and really balled out. So I'm
freshman.
Right.
Tony and I talked about this after the game. How many freshmen played in that game or that filled in that game and that are going to come back next year for Alabama and just be
receivers, quarterback, O-lineman. Yeah, it's scary. It
was sick.
So I'm saying, hey, I want to talk to you about Leatherwood. I want to talk to you about Trent Richardson from Escambia High, and of course won 2 national championships under Saban and was highly recruited by Saban while he was at Escambia. I said, I also want to talk to you about just your overall opinion of Pensacola and the football programs around here. He kind of Coach Saban kind of big leagued me a little, just for a split second. I'm looking at him, we're talking, and he kind of just drifts his focus away. He's looking away from me, kind of pauses for a second, and he just looks at Jacob Copeland, and he's like, "Jacob, like, is this guy all right? Like, what do you think? Should I talk to him?" And Copeland's sitting back, laid back in the office chair, and he's like, "Oh, that's Brian, man. Yeah, he's good. He's cool, man. You got to." And then Coach Saban's like, "All right, well, let's go." And so we, head on out over there, and it was a cool experience for me.
Right on, man.
So you took advantage of what the recruit wanted.
I mean,
Because what the recruit wants, the recruit gets at that point, right? I mean, if Mr. Saban is in the house, then obviously there's some intent to cash in on that.
right. So
I like how Saban plays it. Too.
real recognize real. You know, Copeland. Me and Copeland go back a little bit, so I guess it all comes.
All
full
right,
circle,
so you
maybe.
tell us. You know, so you know Jacob. You're tight with Jacob.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Oof.
That's a no-no.
Man.
Why would you ask that?
Well,
you want him to break all the trust that he's earned over this time? Yeah, that's nice.
Can I put a big 3 out there? Is that not good?
Yeah, you can put a big 3 out there.
All right. It's going to be in no particular order. I think Florida's still up top, but it's Florida. Of course, he just talked to Coach Saban today. Alabama's up there.
It's pretty compelling.
And Tennessee, they got something. He's definitely got a great bond with Coach Pruitt. So I think it's one of those 3 right there.
Was Pruitt recruiting him before he left?
Well, Pruitt was a part of recruiting Copeland when he was
right,
at
that's
Alabama.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Was he recruiting him when he was still at Alabama?
Yeah, so they go back to that point, and that's kind of part of why I think
that's why they even have an opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why Copeland was able to make that joke on the phone to Coach Pruitt, saying like, "Hey, I'm with your big dog right now." So I think they all had that relationship going on since back in the day. I'll say, I mean,
is he ready? Is he ready to play as a freshman?
At Florida or Tennessee, yes. Alabama's going to be a little bit tougher.
I agree with that.
But I think he could. I think he really could at any place. But I think if he goes to Florida or Tennessee, most definitely you see him getting very significant playing time.
You know what?
year.
He could be. Maybe he has to wait until the national championship to contribute, like these guys.
That was the
it's
theme
just
this year,
unbelievable, man. It's just unbelievable.
You know, one thing that's really cool, and I've watched smaller interviews, whether it be YouTube, a platform that's smaller, or a national platform like any type of network news, whatever it is. You don't get this kind of stuff in a lot of cities. Pensacola athletes are some of the proudest athletes you'll ever meet when it comes to their hometown.
Baddest.
But no, absolutely. but the way Pensacola athletes are about repping, other than one specific I can think of, and I'm not going to say any names.
I did.
I mean, I heard it. It was a sneeze. That's what I'm going to go with. Pensacola athletes are huge about letting everybody remember throughout their career where it is they're from, man. You know what I mean? And I think Roy probably set that tone, I think, more than anything, because every other word out of Roy Jones' mouth when he's on TV is Pensacola, which is bad fucking ass.
Yeah, him and Emmett.
Ooh. That goes in the jar. Sorry, guys. that goes in the jar. Thank God we don't have a jar. But you get my point. Either way, Pensacola athletes are proud to represent where they come from, man. And I think that's one of the most endearing things and makes this area so special. Is not only do we produce athletes, we produce thankful athletes. Because the town made them, really. If that
well said. No, well, very
there's
awesome.
some silence there, some uncomfortable silence I had to fill in.
I think we were all just letting it sink in, man. It was well said. I think it moved us.
First time I ever heard that. I appreciate that. Usually I get in trouble for talking.
They want to give back too. These guys get to the next level. You look at guys like Jeremy Reeves, who just balled out in the Senior Bowl last Saturday in the Reese's Senior Bowl over in Mobile. All he talks about, so many of these high school kids reach out to him on Twitter and they're like, "Oh, Jay Reeves, man, like I look up to you. You're the man. You're the man. I want to be like you." He's always coming back to them, and he's told me this personally. He's like, I always tell those guys, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. And so to add on what you said, they take a lot of pride in not only their city, but the next guys up. They want to give back to them. You look at guys like Demarius Randall in the NFL making big plays, big moves, and he's talking to guys like Jeremy Reeves and guys at UWF and even some of the high school guys that he's got connections with. They all want to see these guys come up and keep it
one
going.
of the most underrated professional athletes that came out of this area that really does rep Pensacola and has set up a bunch of programs for kids is Fred Robbins, man. That guy is he's actually got a kind of a system to talk to high school and college athletes about you're not going to make it in the NFL because I think only 3% of college football players play at that next level or any professional level. So Fred has set up a program to help these guys do something without football, and I think that's incredible, man.
And what a lot of people forget is even at that professional level, a lot of those guys, we're talking about scouting team. We're talking about league minimum, and that's not even really enough to live on if you have a family.
Right.
Well, I mean, a lot of us live on less than that, obviously.
League minimum? The NFL league minimum?
No,
we're
listen.
talking about scouting team.
Oh.
Yeah,
how much
football
is that?
is not like baseball. It's not easy to crack a pro roster. Not that it's easy to become a pro in baseball, but it's a lot easier to the percentages. Back to the numbers. The numbers of becoming a pro in baseball are significantly higher than football and basketball. That's for sure. No
I
kidding.
think how many rounds do they draft in baseball? It's crazy. It's like 100 rounds.
Something, yes.
30, I
don't even
think,
know,
30
man.
something.
But they
What you
also
got? I don't
have
think it's
farming
100.
systems, which is something that
That's
the
what I'm
NFL,
saying.
is
That's
missing.
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, 4 or 5 levels.
So you can still be
So-
pro even if you're not in the big leagues.
That's right.
Well, listen, man, it was awesome having you on. Good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. man.
Christmas
You too.
Christmas party was awesome. All above board at that Christmas party.
That was a really special time, man. There was oh man, you had the Jaeger bomb factory, the Jello shot. Tony on those Jello shots, man.
He was passing
He was
those
a man
things
on a
out.
mission with those things.
I think there was some Jameson at that party as well.
His little public sub stash spot that he had in his fridge. The guy had who knows how many feet of public subs in his fridge, man. But
I know.
If you're gonna get it in, you got to get it in now, brother.
You know what the dealio was that meat and cracker tray.
that was
People
special.
were killing that meat and cracker tray.
Jim, let me speak real quick.
So hang on one second. Ron Green, friend of mine, Ron Green, Brian.
Roll Tide.
Roll
What's up,
Tide.
Ron?
That's what I wanted to say. We got to get
Roll
that
Tide.
in.
Ruh-roh.
Okay.
My cousin used to coach University of Alabama, but I don't
Okay.
really tell him. And that was Mike DeBose. But
I'm not dropping names or anything, but
so I'm a baseball guy.
Nice. Me too.
Do you preview the high school baseball teams in the preseason? Do you come around and talk to them? And I know how the P&J puts. Like they'll one day they'll do college teams each day in the Southeastern Conference, and then
Yeah.
they'll do the high school football.
Yeah, right.
Talking about it. Do y'all do that for the baseball too?
We, to an extent, I mean, our football previews are second to none, and I mean, we put a lot of time into that, and that's because we're able to. Football, I'll be honest, during the summer, my job slows down a little bit because I cover all high school sports. So yes, I do cover high school baseball. Football, it's during the summer. We got weeks, a month and weeks to get out. We all split it up, get out, cover each team, get a preview going. For baseball, we don't really get that much time because it overlaps with the playoffs from the winter sports. So maybe I'll be juggling some basketball playoffs and getting ready for the baseball season, softball season, and so we will have like we'll try to find one of the best or one of the most compelling stories and have one preview story for the baseball season, and then have capsules for each team that'll kind of say players to watch, how that team did last year, but. We just really don't have the time or the manpower to have an individual story for each team. But throughout the season, I think I'm confident that every, if not the vast majority of the compelling stories and standout players, we'll get to provide some coverage to them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, to answer, and I'm not trying to answer for him, obviously, but to answer that question just on a national level, prep football is always going to get more attention than prep baseball. It's just always going to.
No doubt.
But,
No doubt.
there's an ecosystem there that evens that out, and that's that there's so many more platforms for them to move on to in baseball that they will get that attention than there is in football. There's no farm system for football. NCAA can never be that kind of a system. And so until they get to college or until they go on to triple, AA baseball, they're not going to, you're not going to get the individual treatment that you would get in prep football.
Pensacola is a hotbed, though, for MLB.
For all sports, man.
Exactly.
For all sports. You name
we
a
got some
sport, we got a famous person.
We got some
that
darn
plays it
good
here.
baseball teams here, though.
Yes, we do.
I love
we do.
I
My
love
son,
these programs.
My son plays for one.
When
of
I
them.
was in middle school, man, my principal, her name was Miss Fryman. It was Travis Fryman's mom, for crying out
There you
loud.
go.
I mean, this town is stacked, man. But yeah, you're never going to get that kind of love for prep baseball. You're just not going to. There's no time. There just isn't.
Here's a story for you. Tate's going to play Catholic in a preseason tournament
For the first time
in a long time.
Right.
So I invite you out. Come out, watch it.
Let's
it's
go.
gonna be pretty good.
Let's go. You got to.
You know.
How many words will
Check
Tony
on-
give you for that, man?
How many? I don't know if it. I mean, we've never covered preseason, but that I think if you're going to cover a preseason game, that's the matchup everybody's been wanting.
That is.
I
but,
need about
you know,
14 inches of
the
copy.
reason I say something about preseason teams is, you know,
I need a Ric Flair
You know,
sound.
Catholic has gone pretty far the last couple of years, and so has Tate.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know, and they're you know, sometimes they fall just a little bit short, and sometimes they win it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it gets enough recognition here in Pensacola. You know that to take and preview those high school teams on that side. So I was just wondering if y'all even did it, or you know, I know
Nobody's
it's not
more
it's not
passionate
gonna
about
be the-
high school baseball than
it's-
Ron.
well,
So-
baseball in general. I mean, I coach kids from knee high to 7 foot tall.
You want to get them some exposure too? Is that what this
Well,
is?
no, it's just
Are you leading into something that we don't
love
know
it.
about?
I think the Aggie Classic is one of the biggest things in the country during its time.
It is.
I don't think it gets enough attention as it should, not just locally, but in the United States.
Yeah, well,
anyways,
I'll agree with him though. Timing, man, that's a
you know,
horrible factor.
I mean, you're talking 20 teams coming from all over the United States and playing good baseball.
Yeah, no, I've been
and-
there the last 3 years.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
one of
been-
the best
it's
work
been
weeks of my life.
crazy, man.
I interviewed Andy Pettit
Andy
at
Pettit,
one of those
his
a couple
son
years
was there.
ago.
He was a monster. He was a beast.
I think it's still spread. I mean, it's been around almost probably more than a quarter of a
long.
century.
Well, I played back then. I was the News Journal tournament when I played.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, so we played Tate. I went to Pensacola High School. We played Tate
Yeah.
back then for the championship game, so that was good. But
Yeah.
it was the Pensacola News Journal back in the 80s.
I would love if we could put on a combine or a tournament or something like that. That'd be awesome, man. But that's a good. I mean, Tony's the guy. We keep referencing Tony. Tony's the guy that makes the calls on what stories I put out there. But I think even if you don't cover the game, it's worth shedding some light on that. Catholic and Tate baseball.
Tate's
are
got
play.
a new coach.
Tate has a new
that
coach.
should be a story in itself, you know.
Yeah, I think that's gonna
graduated
be-
from FSU. So,
right.
You know,
I think that's going to be the preview
Can
for the
he lead us
season.
back to the promised land? I mean, we've been there almost to the Final Four the last 2 years.
Well, whoever won that regional final last year was going to win it all. Nice or Tate. That was the craziest
Nice,
game I've seen.
and that center fielder was a beast.
Yeah, he's going to Florida.
Yes, and I think he
And they're-
could run the 60 in like 6.2.
Yeah, that guy had a lot of swag
Unreal.
too.
Yes, he did.
That's actually where I went to high school.
Was
It's
it?
funny, yeah. So
Well, listen, man.
But-
We'll,
Thank you anyway.
We'll get some baseball. Listen,
I got
dude.
you,
You
man,
know we'll
yeah.
get some
I'm
baseball.
not bashing it, that's for sure.
You know we'll have
I'm
some
excited
baseball
for it.
coverage. You know we'll have some baseball
Hey, I
coverage.
played
man.
NEP, man. I've got stories
So-
too, brother.
Okay.
I hear you. Well, we'll get Phil Hyatt back on if you need him and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
we will.
Yeah, we'll do
Absolutely.
that.
Phil's a good interview.
Yeah, well, I'll see if
Absolutely.
I can get Travis to come out here one time. Will you?
That'd be nice. I'd love
All
to
right.
have Travis
Thank
out here,
you, guys.
man. I would love that. Thank you, Ron.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank
It was a
you.
good episode,
Brian,
Fajan.
thank you. Kenny, thank you.
Great fucking episode, man.
Thank you. I think so too. Chad, thanks, brother.
What'd you, Chad? It's your show. Can you come up here for the close so you can say something, or?
Where's that
Just
going
give
to?
him the mic.
Shovel pass.
Yeah, man. So I think we're gonna wrap it up for another week.
We're trying to, but Chad was
I'm out.
MIA. There we go.
All right, you guys. Appreciate you guys watching, for tuning in. Share the video, please. Share the video for this week. If you're out there, pick up your phone and share this video. Share the live video for this week. Tag the Pensacola News Journal Sports. Tag whoever you want, but share the video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, The Break Sports Bar. Thank you, Tell Staffing and HR. Thank you, Rockies Termite and Pest Control. We'll see you next week on Play Harder Radio.
Doses.